Everybody, welcome. This is the Futro Hidden Movie Gems podcast. I'm your host, Ty Christensen. We're joined by Cameron Mickle.
Ty, is that you?
I just got that. Like, I didn't get that.
Took you a second. Goodness. Talk about a movie about blind people. Come on, son.
Right. But see, I didn't get that the joke was about blind. Yeah. Is that you? And we're also joined by Jordan Christensen.
Is it Geraldine? What's the name of his pocket knife, Ty?
Pocket knife?
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. What is that?
It's Geraldine, the mediator.
It is Geraldine, yeah.
Yeah, Geraldine. Sorry, yeah. Yeah, I'm sorry. I was thinking
No,
Susan.
that's all right.
Like,
I should have just
Susan
quoted
Jordan.
it. All right.
No, yeah, what he names his pocket knife, right? Yeah. Yeah, Geraldine. Okay, Susan. I like that voice. And we're joined by a guest that's been on before. Welcome back, Alicia French.
Oh, hey. Glad to be back.
Did I say your name right? Are you the guest that I can't get the name right, or is that someone else?
I am that guest, but that's okay. I'm Alicia.
Wait.
Alicia works.
Is it Alicia or Alicia?
Alicia.
It's
Yeah.
Alicia.
But I did say Alicia, right? Did I say that right the first time?
No.
You said Alicia.
I said Alicia. See, you are the guest. We brought you back on so I could apologize all these months later. Hey,
Apologize.
very sorry.
Anymore.
Oh, that's
Alicia,
great.
thanks for coming back on so I could correct the record. And today we are discussing a very fun, spooky movie. This is... I'm actually just pulling up the facts now, IMDb. We are discussing Wait Until Dark.
I love that you have the facts
also-
pulled up because I totally have the trivia for the same, like, IMDb trivia pulled up on my screen as well. So.
Until I'm literally pulling it up now. Wait until I'm done and set up for the podcast. Okay, Wait Until Dark. This movie came out in 1967, and it was, man, my computer's really slow. There we go. Directed by Terrence Young. Writers were Frederick Knott and Robert Carrington did the screenplay. It stars Audrey Hepburn, Alan Arkin, my boy, and Richard Crenna, and a few others. This is great. This is one of the few movies with the very few cast. I mean, like, very few. I could read them all. But I won't. So, we are going to go around. What was it like watching this movie the first time, and what was it like rewatching it for this podcast? Let's start with Alicia.
So, I saw this movie years ago. Actually, I don't even know if I saw it or if I've just, like, created a memory around reading the play. And so that was my very first impression of it, was like the script and what was supposed to be happening. So then coming back and watching it for the podcast and watching it with other people at the same time, I loved it. And I forgot how much I love Audrey. So unlike the last movie I was on the podcast for, this movie delighted me.
Yes. Cameron, how about you? What was it like watching this movie for the first time and rewatching it for the pod?
Dang. I can't even remember. I believe the first time I ever watched it, I was like 10, and I think it was at a Halloween party back in Wisconsin. I think that was.
Was that our Halloween party that we threw?
Yeah, I believe so. I think.
Cameron, were we such cool brothers that we let you hang out with our high school friends?
You sure were.
Yeah, I'm tooting my own horn right now, but I just wanted to throw that out there because I'm pretty sure, yeah, we did that. That was our Halloween party, and it was so awesome.
Yeah, it was pretty sick. But I'm trying to remember. And the first time I ever watched it, I was kind of like, this is kind of slow. I didn't really understand. I don't think I understood like the heroin part and stuff like that. And I was like, what the frick is going on? But man, at that
Cameron's like, that dolly's really important. I don't
yeah,
know
I'm
why.
like, why is she so important? But then the like the jump at the end, goodness, that I think we rewatched that like 3 or 4 times. We're like, go back. So that first time was definitely amazing, and then rewatching it now, I've seen it probably like 4 or 5 times, and watching this time was really like refreshing because I got to watch it and appreciate it a little bit more because I understood a lot more, and then just understanding like film. But yeah, I don't know, just watching it again.
Because you understand crack cocaine and heroin just a little bit more,
just a little bit
refined
better now,
and
yeah.
nuanced taste of what's out there.
Yeah, but definitely, I don't know. I feel like it's a movie that never gets old. I don't know. I think it's easy to yearly watch this for Halloween.
Yeah, excellent. Jordan, how about you?
Yeah, I can't remember the first time either. This is one of those old films that Mom had that I'm super glad she introduced us to. I believe the first time watching it was with, I don't know, this is just the perfect movie to watch with a big group of people. And I believe we've watched it every time I do watch it, and the time for this podcast, I watched it with a huge group. Except when I was watching with the group, I was enjoying it so much, I didn't get to take any notes, so I went back and just rewatched it last night. But when we watched it with the group, it was just so much fun. This movie is a perfect movie to watch with a ton of people, because you don't have to watch like okay, well, last night I watched a movie, What We Do in the Shadows with a group of people, and it was like uncomfortable silence like for the most of the film. And so that is not a movie you want to watch with a big group of people, but this is a movie you want to watch with a big group of people. And
I watched it with you in the big group of people with you, and half the fun of it was like jump scaring people at a part, like, you know, there's just silence or suspense, and then leaning over to the person next to you and being like, whoa, and then like, ah, why would you do that?
Oh, totally. Oh my gosh, this movie is so good. And a lot of the people made some amazing comments in the movie with our group. Like, somebody pointed out that end jump scare is literally a jump scare. Yeah, he's jumping yes. in the air. So,
like, he must have had like some trampoline in the other room, that, like completely horizontal through the air, like, and then after that he was writhing on the ground, crawling. So yeah, that leap was a jump scare. Fully vertical, else. Cameron, you caught footballs like that back in the day, right?
Yeah, I used to.
Just completely horizontal. Love it. Yeah, I'm with you, Jordan. I don't remember the first time I was exposed to this. I'm pretty sure it was our parents sat us down. They're like, this is an oldie but goodie. You know, we watched this growing up, and so we watched it with Mom, and she probably, just like us, just watching out of the corner of her eye, our reactions to the movie, because there are some great twists and turns, jump scares, literal jump scares. This movie has it all. It's a great rewatch because I always forget. I know about the one we're talking about, like the big jump, but I always get the timing off. It's one of these like things with old movies. Like new movies, I can anticipate just about exactly when I'm gonna get jump scared. But this one, it reminded me of the movie It Follows. I can't anticipate. I know the scene, and I'm like, okay, it's coming up right here, and then like my heart skips a beat because I'm like, I brace for it too soon, and then it comes and hits me after I let my guard down just a millisecond later. It gets me every single freaking time. So yeah, this movie's great, and it's fun on rewatch. So yeah, I enjoy watching this film. I enjoy making my friends watch it. It's usually one of those ones, and a big group of people, very few people have seen it. It's one of those smaller, I would argue, indie films, but I mean, this is probably, you know, I mean, nothing that Audrey Hepburn starred in was an indie film. She was like the actress.
Yeah, she got nominated for an Academy Award for this. For her
yeah, nominated. Right. Yeah. It was nominated for an Oscar.
Well deserved.
So yeah, and she pulls it off, man. Although my biggest gripe is that they didn't get a real blind person to do the role. So, you know.
Oh, here we go. Oh, brother.
Yeah, can you be careful to not actually grab the knife by the blade, dear blind person on set?
Yes.
We need you to stab him with it, but don't stab
more handicapped.
Yourself.
We need more handicapped people in our films. That's all I'm saying. More representation. We need some more people handy-abled in our films.
But this was 1967.
More Avengers in wheelchairs, please. That's what I want to see.
Oh, brother. Okay.
Okay, I've made my peace. All right. You just out of solidarity, I want just more blind and deaf people in the films.
They tried to get Blind Spot in The Boys, but Homelander wasn't a big fan. That's what'll happen with everybody.
just deafens him. Oh my gosh. Hey, look at me.
Oh, look at it.
All right, so we are not even talking about that series anymore. That's over with. Hey, we are discussing this movie. Jordan, do you have the plot synopsis?
I mean, you've already got it pulled up, or I got it right here.
I do. A recently blinded woman is terrorized by a trio of thugs while they search for a heroin-stuffed doll they believe is in her apartment.
Oh, I loved it too. With the group we were watching it with, I've got so many comments from them. It was hilarious. One of them was somebody came into the movie late, and then Alicia gave an amazing recap. And then afterwards, as we're watching it, Alicia forgot to mention the drug part. It's just the opening scene. And so somebody was like, what's in the doll? And I said drugs. And they're like, whoa, spoil it for me. And I'm like, it was in the opening scene. Like,
Okay, I feel like we need to pause right there because Jordan, my amazing recap was actually one sentence long, and it was, so there's this blonde, and then I lost it, and I could not, like, because all you do is watch this blonde lady who's not Audrey for so long, and so for some reason, like, that was so funny to me, so they're like, okay, so what's happening? So we pause it, and I'm telling him, and I'm like, so there's this blonde. Somebody else gave the amazing synopsis, because I couldn't get past the blonde with the hair.
oh, okay. I remember you started it at least.
Oh, yeah. But on that note, it's, like, I was reading in the trivia, it's 22 minutes before Audrey shows up. You have 22 minutes of intro before you actually see her.
Oh, wow. Yeah, you don't see that anymore in movies.
Yeah.
Yeah, old films, man. Sometimes their credit sequences were so boring, but I mean, this one
I thought
does
this was
have...
good.
No, I mean, yeah, it does a different story, but I actually kind of enjoy it because, again, they were still trying to push the exposition during, you know, all the names are rolling and everything like that. Like back in the day, I watched other older films that literally just had like the music score comes on and then it's just all the names come up on you. You know, there's nothing else going on. But this one, you're following. It's kind of like the POV from the doll's point of view, and I like it. So. Mm-hmm. Well, just a very, very simple. It's journey to get to where it ended up, right? Because rather than talk about it, they kind of show it, and I thought that was kind of fun.
Well, and
Takes
it
you
makes
out of the apartment for the one brief time.
It makes sense as well for its origins because this was a play before it was for screen, and so in live theater you do have to explain the set that you're looking at. You can't just take for granted that you have a film set that you can manipulate and move. And so if you're following true to the play, then you have to explain the set and then explain who the bad guys are and explain what they're trying to do, and then you can introduce the character you're going to follow through the rest of the film. And so they kept they held that true.
Yeah, I like that. And honestly, I think, this movie, it still works so well. Like, I mean, some movies that were made for, like, plays, I'm like, oh, well, that only works as a play. But this one, I feel like, they really made it so, even though you can understand why it comes from a play, because, again, like, all one setting, there's very few actors and characters. It all takes place in minimal locations. A lot of it is discussed outside, or, you know, like they discuss what's happened previously, and now they're back in the apartment. But I
thought Arsenic and No Lace was a good adaptation from a screenplay. I mean, from a play.
Yeah, that's another good one.
It's another movie that's very similar to this.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, kind of has a similar feel to it for sure. That's a great one. Mm-hmm. So we're gonna go around and say two of our favorite things from this film. Alicia, why don't you start us off?
Oh man, no pressure. Okay, I loved...
Go, now!
I actually loved the little girl. I loved that she drove me nuts so much at the beginning that I was like, this girl has issues, and like she's being mean. But that by the end of the movie, she had redeemed herself. That I actually was like, oh, okay. So, like, full character development there. I'll give it that. You're shaking your head no. And then I also loved how Sam, what's Audrey's character's name? I got this. Yeah, I feel like I need to know that.
Audrey Hepburn, Susie Hendricks.
Susie, yeah.
Sorry. Susie.
How much Sam wanted, like, he clearly loved her and she loved him, but he, like, pushed her to not be afraid. Even after this insane murder, like, at the very end of the movie, and I'm sure we should discuss this, but at the end of the movie, after she's gone through all of this, he still doesn't like, go to her, makes him come to him.
He's still a...
Yeah.
Sorry, no, finish your thought.
Listen to the men saying this and me saying that. But I don't necessarily
come to his defense.
I can't decide how I feel about it, but that's what I like about it. I like that it makes me think about it over and over again. That it wasn't a one and done action, but that it makes me think, like, what would I have wanted? As a wife, what would I have wanted? As, like, someone who's trying to teach a blind girl not to be afraid, and to be okay to live her life without needing someone hand and foot. What about that?
You took down a trio drug ring all by yourself as a blind woman? Now, find your way to me, you stupid witch. You're still blind. Like, gosh dang it.
Make me a sandwich, wench. That's all I could think of. I was like,
Yeah,
are you
could you make
kidding
me a sandwich?
Does he say that?
So bad.
No.
No, he
Okay.
doesn't say that. Yeah, does he say that?
No.
Yeah, I'm reading it right from the quotes here.
No.
Husband of the year.
No.
Oh my gosh. No, okay. To your credit though, Alicia, I actually like what you're saying because again, it is a callback to earlier in the film when she misplaces something and then she's looking for it on the floor and he's like, you can find it, like you can do this all by yourself, right? And he's teaching her and then in the end she's like, well, what do I have to be? The most, what was it, like the
Most able.
blind champion, like champion blind lady, and goes, yes, like he yells at her like, yes, you have to be that way. And she's like, well, then I will be. I'll be everything you want to be. And he's like, I don't want you to be anything other than Susie. It's like a
Okay,
sweet moment at the
yes.
beginning where he realizes he was a for saying it in the first place. And at the end, though, I'm like, I wouldn't have made that mistake again, but maybe it's not a mistake, like you said.
But
I just think it would have been better if she had said, no. I got, like, he would have been running to her, and she'd have been like, no, I can find you, or something, right?
Yes,
like,
I would have loved that, but I feel like he still has to have credit. He's consistent, and he's doing it for her. Because for him to take the extra 5 steps to get to her, he's not physically incapable of doing it. He's not mentally incapable of doing it. So look at his motives. He's doing it for her. Not because he's a dick, as you suggest, but because he wants her to be a champion.
Champion! I love it. Hey, I like your reading. You are so much more forgiving than I am. I'm just like, I just remember the first time I watched it, I was like, the freak! Like, Husband of the Year award goes to Sam. Nice work, Sam. Okay, awesome. Well, I think we hijacked your thought. Alicia, do you have any other favorite?
No, you asked for 2. I think I got 2 out, so
Perfect.
carry on.
Jordan, how about you, Jordan? 2 of your favorite things.
Oh boy. I think this time it changed. This time I would say as I was catching all the like details earlier on as they played, like how important those things were as they played into later, like even the fact that she said, "Are you looking at me?" and then she sticks out her tongue, which is a really fun moment, and the crowd we were with like enjoyed that and laughed. But then later she says that again to the villain and says, "Are you looking at me?" and then she hucks the it wasn't gasoline, but it was I think the photo stuff, wasn't it? I just know it was flammable. Yeah. Anyways, she threw it in his face.
Yeah.
And
what do you call it? Photo developer liquid? I don't know what to call that.
Yeah,
stuff.
it's so good. I just throughout the entire film, they just kept building up these moments. Like the husband says to her, she's like, "Oh, how do I do this for the fridge or whatever?" Which came into play at the very end. But if he had told her, then she wouldn't have almost died. Because that later came into play at the end. Like, what was it that she needed to do? Like, figure out how to unplug it.
Defrost, I thought.
Yeah, but she needed to unplug the fridge. She's like, where do I unplug it? He's like, you can figure it out. And I was like, are you freaking kidding me? Like, that she could have died because the guy was like chasing her down. But anyways, it's just
I would have fared with the police. It's all my fault, officer. I didn't tell her how to unplug the stupid refrigerator. She's dead. My wife is dead. That's so sad.
And also
makes you want to say I love you every time you leave the house. Always tell your spouse you love him. You never know when you're gonna get in that accident. You know.
That wasn't an accident. That was an attempted murder.
Oh right.
Yo.
Right. No. No. But what I'm saying is, after watching it, well, I think you're more likely to get into an accident than be attempted murder in a trio drug ring. Okay. What I'm saying is, watching this movie reminded me that I do want to say I love you before I leave my house every day. Did that make sense?
Yes, it made sense in the beginning. I just.
You're involved.
Ty.
You're involved in a drug trio accident. You know, sometimes accidentally a doll of heroin just ends up in your apartment, and you're in the middle of it all.
And there's a point we'll come back to, but keep going.
Awesome, Cameron. How about you?
Oh, whoa! I didn't say 2. I just said 1. All right.
Oh, sorry.
Always cutting me off.
Sorry,
last thing I just wanted to say was that. Well, there's so many things. I don't want to hit them all, but.
Come on, 2. So you have one more.
I know. I gotta pick out of 5.
Hit them all.
Well, because I was gonna say the music, which is amazing. Just those two notes.
So that's your two. So that's your two.
Oh, dang it! Fine, I'll use that for now. But I do want to mention some other things. I want to do a few shout outs later, but I'll go with that.
Excellent. Okay, I'm going to say two of my favorite things, Cameron, real quick, because I'm afraid you're going to take them. One of them is the sensory, I don't know what else to call it, sensory, not overload, but it's like they try to immerse you in it, so there's scenes where it goes completely dark, which I really appreciated, because, I mean, it gives you some semblance of what our protagonist is dealing with.
Yes.
But, like, I love in movies when they do that, right? Like, the shell shock every time they, like, do the sound, the ringing sound, all that stuff, right? Another movie, well, and we can get into this, what other movies this reminds me of, but yeah, not the dark scenes really do work, because sometimes I think you either have to cheat and do like night vision so everyone still understands what's going on, but they've already set up the premise of what's about to happen, and so as soon as you think he has the upper hand, she douses him in that stuff and gets the matches, right? And I just love that. She's like,
well, and
I know how it's so great.
And
I just love that scene.
And talk about like setting up the layout of the land, like where everything is, and so it's awesome when you hear things going on. You're like, oh, I know exactly where they are, and I mean, I just feel like movies like these superhero movies, they sometimes never set a scene, and it's just like,
right.
I don't know.
Yeah, exactly. Like. I just iconically is just obviously the tapping. She's lighting matches every few seconds, backing away. It's probably one of the most eerie, because again, she can hear very well, so he's tapping, but all the while reaching further behind him to get to the fridge. It's just so horrifying. It's so good. It's like a great scene. I mean, it still holds up to this day. So I love that. And then my second favorite thing is, I love our villain. I love Rote. I guess his name is, right? He's great. Played by my boy, Alan Arkin. He's got a funny boat. Or Rote Jr. and Rote Sr., he plays all the Rotes in the movie. But he also was in Get Smart. He's the old CIA agent, and he has the funniest line in Get Smart when he's just like, Steve Carell looks over to him and he's just like, are you thinking what I'm thinking, Chief? And he goes, were you thinking, holy shiz, the swordfish almost went through my head? So great. Love it. He's got a comedic bone, but when you watch this film, total terror. I mean, like, who knew that this guy could be so menacing and so sleazy? He's like greasy, the leather jackets.
He is greasy. I just wanted him to shower. I needed a shower while looking at him.
Just a chameleonic, just like cut. A little... everything, the circle spectacles, everything about him just really got under my skin. So he was great.
And the way he talked, dude, I love that.
Yeah, kind of the light nasally, whiny.
Yes.
Susie, you played your hand. Yeah, he's great. So he steals the show. It was like he went a direction, he went for it. So and it paid off, I think. So that works for me. Cameron, how about you? What are your two favorite things?
Kind of going along with the first one, sort of what Jordan mentioned, but just the score is phenomenal. Goodness, it is so beautiful. Every single time like it comes on, it just gives me anxiety. He just plays.
Yes.
And it's like it could just be like her and what's called Gloria in the room, but like it just makes me on edge. Like something's gonna happen. I'm like, oh freak! And then you start to associate that with every single scene, and that's what I love is because me and Jordan talk a lot about movies that use sound to force you to feel an emotion versus like an associated like feeling with that sound. So that's what I really appreciate is they didn't do it in the beginning just to make you feel like afraid. But
isn't
it
interesting?
Really well.
Isn't it interesting too? Like the sound dropped out when she was getting all emotional, which I know made a lot of people in our crowd feel uncomfortable because people started laughing because it was just like when she's reaching for the phone line and then she's like, she starts panicking and stuff. Everybody in our group just started like laughing because they like didn't know how to like react and feel about that because I think the music dropped out for a second and so it was just like that uncomfortable, feeling.
Yeah.
I think I was too busy being one of those people in the crowd to notice like all of these notes that you're taking. I was in that group, and since I didn't notice that, I was probably like one of the people in the group doing that.
That's good.
And then
sorry, keep going, Cameron.
Keep on. Yeah. What else, Cameron?
And then my second thing, my favorite moment in the show is, I mean, obviously the jump scare is fantastic, but I think my favorite moment is the realization scene. I think that's kind of the scene that like sets, like pretty much earns her Academy like nomination, because like holy cow, the moment when she realizes after she just spoke with what's his name, after she speaks with
Carlino?
with Sam, after she speaks with Sam, and then Gloria calls. Then like
twice.
That betrayal. Yeah.
What I love is like me and Jordan talk about this a lot. Is we hate how directors, especially nowadays, treat you like you're like a 12-year-old like child, and they have to explain every single thing to you. But I love is this movie is so focused on like picking up on hints and details. So like the moment you realize like you hear the double ring, like she doesn't have to say, "Oh my gosh, he betrayed me." You just know, like as soon as she hears
he betrayed me.
Yeah,
You betray me.
And so
I'm fed up with this world.
And so like just when she like that yell that she does, and then how she's kind of like stumbles, like I liked it because it just showed like how her whole entire world's like flipped upside down, just everything's chaotic. She's like, I don't know what I can do, like because you think about it, you're like, what can you do in that situation? Especially when they cut the phone line, you're like, especially back
And
then.
she's
like,
just sent the girl away.
Yeah, she just sent the girl away. It's like, what are you gonna do? Bang on the pipes and then hope that freaking like 9-year-old girl is gonna save your life? Like, come on. Oh.
Well, it's even what's so interesting too is like we already know he's bad, but when she finds out, it's suddenly like, oh shoot! Like I don't know why.
Yeah.
Like that's
the level of dread. That's because again now it heightens the stakes, right? Because now she has to behave as though.
Oh, I see what you're saying.
Yet.
Yeah.
So yeah, because and again, you're right, because we already know the revelation, but when she finds it out, it's like, okay, what's your next play? You now have to start playing ahead, because before you were ignorant, and all up until you provide the doll, you're going to be fine. But then that moment where she finally tells him to come over, like it's that moment where she's like, okay, I'm going to get rid of this doll and my life's going to be all better all of a sudden. So she's just about out of the neck of the woods, and then she finds out that he's one of them. And that's a great line too, because he comes in and he's just like, you act as if you're in kindergarten. This is a big bad world, full of mean people, where nasty things happen. And she's just like, now you tell me, right? It's just like, I know you're freaking lied to me. It's so great. So that's excellent. The betrayal, Cameron. It does work, Cameron. Did you already say 2, Cameron?
Yeah.
All right, shut up. All right, so now we're going into our 2 least favorite things about this, or any nitpicks that you guys might have had. We've already covered one. One thing. I just somehow, maybe if they spent a little bit more time. I'm not saying I have a better answer now, but like for some reason, just having the husband like come home, find out his wife has been tortured by 3. Like, how did a blind woman better 3 men? Like, I mean, granted, you had some betrayal going on there, but again, like outsmart the 3 men that were there to take the doll back, and it's so great. Like. Come on over here. And again, you're right, Alicia. I like what you said about him being true and consistent. I guess he's kind of your static character, doesn't change. But I don't know. I just been like, okay, you've proven yourself. Like all of this, you proved it. But in the end, still pulling through and finding your husband. And
you're looking
anyway,
for.
I don't know.
I mean, like you just supported my point, so I'll support yours. This is 1967 that this was made? So
yeah.
This was still very much women are still inferior to men in the workplace, in the home, and then you've got like a blind woman, and
still true
you've got like,
day.
Whoa! Now I will kick you in the shins.
Did I bet Alicia could beat you up, Cameron?
I could beat you
Yeah,
up.
she definitely
Kitty
could.
punk, tall, white, scraggly butt.
But like even. I mean, you've got the social movement at that time where like women are fighting to be more equal, and you also have like the social those with disabilities are fighting to have equal status as well, and then you have like racism, which is fighting to have an equal status as well. And racism doesn't feature here, but women and those, to your opening point, Ty. Like they do actually advocate for that, even if it's not necessarily because they have someone who is blind. It's because they are representing a heroine who is blind. So that he's not giving her due credit at the end there of like not only did she accomplish it, but she accomplished it in the 1960s when that was a bigger deal even than it is now.
So could we get a white person in blackface, but doing it in solidarity, providing that they think this African American hero that they're playing becomes the hero and the protagonist of their story? Does that not work? I don't know why it doesn't work. Does it not work with this logic? No. Hey, you're doing good. You're doing fine. Just fine.
Anyways, no, but I love, though, I love a point Alicia brought up about this whole part is I contemplate that throughout the entire film thinking, is he doing the right thing? Is he going about it the right way? Like, I honestly think it makes for a better discussion just thinking about, like, is he being a tool and being mean to her?
Well, actually, real quick, one thing, she was not inherently blind. This happened from an accident. I think this is important to clarify because there's a lot of people that suffer trauma, and because they have a change in the way that their relationship has been going, accidents like whether people get dismembered or, if they become paralyzed somehow, right? It does change the dynamic of your relationship and how it existed before, right? Like, who knows, man? Maybe she was the breadwinner.
Wait,
she was smacking.
They met after that time.
Sam. Oh, you know what? That's right. They did say that they did meet after.
But
now everything I said just goes out the window.
Well, no. So here's another point in his favor, because if they met after, then some people would like go out with a blind girl to take care of them, and in taking care of them, make themselves feel better. And he didn't do that. Like he may be the breadwinner for her, but he's making her self-sufficient because if he suffered from low self-esteem, he would have waited on her hand and foot to make himself feel better, and he didn't do that. He enabled her and taught her to be self-reliant.
I totally forgot about that detail. Yeah, they had met afterwards. That's right, because he had coached her. I honestly thought, I was like, yeah, but that's not common to her, right? And that must be very frustrating when you have had sight for so much of your life and then you lose it all of a sudden. But and very, very true.
Dude, this poor, I mean, maybe this goes into who wins the Academy Award. Her performance obviously was unbelievably good. And on top of that, they wrote an amazing character because I just think she is a total baller. I mean,
dude, woman empowerment. This is how you do it, man. A blind woman takes down 3 drug men. That makes the headline.
I love how genius and smart she is. I love she's like, well, why were they messing with the blinds? And she's putting together the phone calls coming after each time that happened. And then I love how she's just piecing the puzzle together and outsmarting them. And then I love too that. I'm already forgetting the moment, but we'll have to come back to me. Sorry.
Okay, but you keep talking about the drug ring, and she took down 3 men that were in a drug ring, but she took down, one was your classic thug, and she outsmarted him. One was, he was actually was this one Carlino? I can't remember which one's which, but the one that she first met who said he was her husband's friend, and she
Carlino. Yeah,
she won him over with compassion. Nice Carlino. So she won him over with compassion, so that by the end he was ready to help her. And then the third guy that was the one most intent to do her harm, she actually outwitted and outlived and completely defeated.
I do want to talk about that. Props to this movie for making me actually think he was a cool guy, because the more I thought about it on this viewing, I'm like, oh my gosh, he is like horrible human being, because their whole master plan was to make her think that her husband was cheating on her and then manipulate her to give them the doll. How horrible of a human being you are. I know she was too smart for his own good, and thank goodness she was, because otherwise if he had ended up getting the doll and manipulated her and stuff, she would have thought her husband was cheating on her. I don't know, that's sick. But so I'm just saying, props to them.
And used her closet as a freaking coffin, man. So messed up.
Murder's bad, but using your closet to hide a dead body and convincing you that your husband cheated on you, that is below the belt.
She walks right by it and flips the scarf, just right there, tuffles her hair. That's me every time. It's
well, we already know the guy with the bowl cut, he's a creep, and he's the one who put the body in there. And everyone I watched this movie with, every time that body, the door slowly closes, you don't catch it the first time when he opens the closet, but then as soon as the body, the door starts to shut and it's right behind him, everybody starts to freak out. It's so good.
I'm freaking out now.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. I gotta say my gripes.
Yeah.
So one of them is related to what you just talked about. First off, if you're a blind lady, dude, all of your senses are extremely heightened, and she's a genius. She could smell gasoline from halfway across the room, and she could hear a squeaky shoe and recognize it and put it 2 and 2. So
Yes.
how in the heck are you next to a dead body and not smell a person? Because obviously once they die, they like pee themselves and like release everything that's in their bowels. So there's no way on earth that she would not smell that dead body, or at least be like, what the heck is right next to me? She definitely would have smelled like.
Well, I thought the
peanut
gasoline
butter.
was everywhere. I thought there was gasoline everywhere, and that stuff's powerful.
Not in the beginning.
He's referring to the beginning when she's in the closet.
And she has the
Oh.
scarf.
Cameron,
And she
we,
goes
we
like
should
that.
we should look it up. That reminds me of that Julian Smith video where he's like, "How long before a dead body starts to stink? Like how long before it starts decomposing?"
No, okay, so
he's got his friend that just died.
Yeah.
Yeah, who knows,
So-
right?
so that-
I don't think it's right away, but
Yeah, just
maybe it is.
that one scene I felt like was kind of unrealistic because of the body, and then also she might have smelt the sandwich that was out, or like she stopped right there and was like, "I know you're in here, Gloria," and I was like,
Smelt the
"Are you
sandwich? I'm sorry.
What?
She's got like super smelling. I'm sorry. Do sandwiches smell that much? I'm sorry. Maybe you had a ton of mustard or something, but
Dude,
I don't know.
my dog can smell raw meat. I can't even smell raw meat, but my dog can smell that stuff. Or maybe she hears the packaging.
She's got the scent of a dog down.
Yeah.
Anyways, keep going,
she just
Cameron. I'm
comes
sorry.
I'm just saying the chick recognized the same squeaky shoes, so I wouldn't put it past her. All right, settle down. And then
I'm sorry, Cameron.
Also, I just felt like every single time someone caught an item, it was really weird. I don't know if it was just like the transitions or whatever. Every time someone caught an item, I was like, did they just like glitch in like this fake CGI or something? Like what the heck? And then my biggest gripe is literally just Gloria. I hate her with the biggest passion that a human being can hate another. She is the worst helper ever. She was bullying a blind lady, and then like the moment she's like, "Oh no, I'll put away all this stuff," and she's like, "Okay, yeah, bye." I was like, "What? Your little job?"
Cameron,
is
I can't wait, dude. Your first girl. You're gonna have a daughter, and you're gonna name her Gloria, and she's gonna be picked
Oh
on
my
because she
gosh.
wears glasses. People call her from the big
Okay,
from outer
the
space.
glasses,
It's so
the
sad.
glasses made me want to punch her in the face. I'm like, I hope she gets bullied for those glasses so she can stop wearing those glasses.
Cameron, it's literally in the plot. She is bullied. That's why she acts out at Elisa or Susie because she's bullied at school. She's like what, 10, 11 years old?
Yeah, well, how
Whoever-
about the comment about she's like, I learned that from Dad when she says she throws stuff that's unbreakable.
She threw Unbreakables. Yeah, I learned
Well,
from Dad.
I
It's
learned it from
geez,
Dad.
what
I'm
a
like,
different
what?
time you lived in.
I think
Well,
that
no,
was
and the
my
dad-
turning point of like compassion. Like, okay, she's just trying to have power and control somewhere, and unfortunately, it's over our dear blind lady because she doesn't have it somewhere else. If she has to learn to dodge things that can be thrown that are not breakable, and she learned that from
Yeah.
somewhere.
Special place in hell
What kind
for
of
her.
10-year-old learns? What kind of living situation does a 10-year-old girl learn from her father to throw unbreakables? Like that's not something I teach my daughter. Like, hey, guess what? It's okay. You can throw stuff as long as it doesn't break against the wall. Like, what are you
Like your
kidding? Like, what
mother.
a terrible living situation she was in.
That's I thought it was
right?
referring to throwing her mom because she's not breakable. That's what I thought I was referring to. I was like, geez, that's some like messed up shiz. But no, yeah, her glasses were rough.
That reminds me of The Office. Cameron, he's like, I'll put Michael Scott gets his apartment or his condo. He's like, I'll put my TV up against that wall. He goes, oh no, bad idea. Angry neighbor throws his wife into the whole TV comes crashing down. You only throw unbreakables. I throw my wife against the wall. She doesn't break. That's terrible, Cameron. Oh, speaking of wife thrown at a wall, actually happened when I was in Chile.
Oh no.
Some guy threw his wife into the glass sliding door. I'm not kidding. And it shattered. Policemen were in her apartment building complex in the parking lot all night. Their lights going off. It was crazy. So,
Wow.
yeah. And all I heard was, "You want to kill me? You want to kill me?" And then there's an explosion where he had thrown his wife into the sliding mirror or the sliding
men
door
are
rather.
crazy.
Shattered it. Woo!
Yeah, well, and this
Crazy.
movie's to prove it. All men in this movie are horrible human beings.
Yeah, what the heck?
But I actually, real quick, Alicia, I want to add on to what you said. I really like that you said that she didn't necessarily overpower these three men, but one, she appealed to her better nature. She also was able to figure everything out. Like, she used her wit, she used her intelligence, she used her senses other than sight,
then she
right?
used a knife.
Everything else and then used a knife straight up to murder.
You do what you gotta
that's
do.
great. I love that. Yeah, yeah. What a girl has to do to get ahead in life, you know?
Yeah, but I really do like that she defeated them
All right,
in
settle
every...
down,
like,
Ty. Get off the soapbox. Goodness.
Oh my gosh. No, I support it. I support you.
That's right. That's right. I'm a feminine ally, okay?
We call that...
Oh boy.
Hey, it's only funny, folks, because we all know that it's not funny or it's okay to say these things, right? Why do I have to make that disclaimer in the 21st century? Everybody grow up. No one here is sexist. No one. We're talking about a movie here that was in a time. I like what Alicia said. I mean, this is like, they're probably like, yeah, that's right. You tell your wife to come to you. It's like, what the freak? Like, she just killed, anyway.
All right, yeah, we've talked about that enough.
So, other nitpicks. Anyone have any other nitpicks?
His haircut.
Susie, is that you? No, it's Batman.
Yeah, well,
Try to do the voice.
Talk
I
about
wish you
being
would've done the voice, though.
Talk about being timeless, man. This movie still holds up so well. Like even that comment about Batman, it's like Batman's still popular today. Like
who'd have thought?
So one thing is, like, this movie's classified as a horror, and I'm not sure, like, I've been thinking about what we call horror movies or, like, scary movies, and this movie, for me, the classification, like, I can't do anything paranormal. That's a line that freaks me the hay out. But this movie counted as a horror movie because you're watching, like, three guys try and murder a blind woman, and it's got, like, the suspense, and you've got the music that's putting you on edge, and you're uncomfortable. But if you think about it, why are you uncomfortable, and how is that different than a paranormal movie? A paranormal, like, that just brings the reality, like, that I don't know, it makes me feel dark, where this movie, it made me, like, dread for her. Like, she needs to be safe. I was such an advocate for her through this whole movie. And so as the suspense increased, or as the plot thickened, to your point of, we knew what was going on. We knew who the bad guys were all along. And then we still feel it when she realizes it. We realize it, and our dread increases, and we're like, oh my gosh, you're not safe. And that's what I loved. But it wasn't horrifying. There was no part of it for me that was horrifying, even though it is classified as a horror film. And there were jump scares in which I did jump a lot.
I like that. Any other nitpicks that you guys wanted to throw out real quick?
Yeah, why did we spend so much time with the woman, like the blonde woman with the hair? Like, her hair was so big, you guys. Why did we follow her for so long in the beginning?
I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Does this movie get made today, I don't know. I would like it maybe if they did a POV from the doll, like maybe watching the doll get stuffed with, well, I mean, because again, we watched the doll get made and everything like that. But I don't know, like almost like like a GoPro attached to the doll's foot or something, Pull like one of those scenes from, what was that movie, Castaway, right? Where the FedEx box, it follows it. I don't know how else you do it. I don't know. She did, like, you follow her forever. It's too long. Like I said, the credits, I was like, shorten them. Like, we get it. All the stars in the movie. Get the movie on the road. Let's get to quotable lines. Any quotable lines from this movie?
When Gloria says, I wish I was gorgeous. Guess you can't have everything. Well, she just compared herself, like, to the lack of being beautiful, the fact that she's blind. She's like, you're blind. I'm not gorgeous. Can't have everything. I'm like, did you just minimalize the fact that she can't see? She lost one of her 5 senses. You're bummed because you haven't had your growth spurt or, like, puberty. I was like, goodness. The lack of, like, perception of what life is.
I really liked at the end when Ro is explaining to Susie, he's like, did you know they wanted to kill me? I did. I even knew before they did. I love that. They're awful amateurs. He was so good. He was like, and that's why you saw through him. And then she's like, I saw through you too. And he goes, not all the way, Susie. Even now, not all the way. He was so good. I think he's probably one of the greater, probably underlooked villains of film in a long time. It's like all the silliness of meeting up in the parking lot in their comic book minds. He was so good at, like, at the very beginning too. Again, when he's talking to the other two thugs, they meet in the apartment and they touch everything, and he goes, you might want to dust your fingers for prints, when they're trying to back out. And then he goes, the only thing I've touched is right here. And he like wipes off the ashtray or something like that. And he wears gloves. He like clearly outsmarts them. You understand the dynamic of the relationship they're gonna have. He's gonna outdupe them both. He's gonna be the one that ends out on top.
And then when he's toying with Carlino, I love that too. He's like, "Oh, don't forget the table. You forgot the table."
Right.
He's like toying with him.
Yeah, exactly. It so
shows how much like power he has in like the situation or whatever.
What a psycho.
He's a baller.
Yeah. He's definitely up there in the best
I want to get
even
that
torturing
haircut.
her. Oh, yeah.
Oh no!
Don't do it, Cameron.
Yeah, Cameron, if you
Going
never
back
want to
from
get
that.
married.
Yeah, and also the just like torturing her with that just
Dude,
terrorizing, taunting her with that cloth
yes.
rag. Yeah,
Oh
he's like a bully, and again, that's where he just makes him so greasy. He just like taunting her and scaring
But the
her.
light bulb was
the cloth.
so genius. Like, first, it was brilliant of her to go and turn. This is not a quote, so sorry. It was brilliant of her to go turn all the lights off. And it was brilliant of him to figure out that the refrigerator was the one light bulb that she couldn't control until she, unplugged it. And you have that last moment. But that was the one thing that I remembered from reading the play as a kid or in like middle school. I remembered the light bulb. I remembered the scene as it describes in the play her going to turn off all the lights and all the light bulbs until there's nothing left but the refrigerator.
I just had a quick question. Did she intentionally leave on that one near the photos, like that light on? Because I couldn't tell if because she did it, because she knew exactly that one wasn't turned off. So I figured that she left it on to like not let the enemies know that she like had taken out all the other lights. Because otherwise they'd have been like, why are all the lights out? Because I was confused at that why she left that one on, but then she instantly knew like, oh, I need to go turn this one off. So I figured she left it on purpose, knowing that that's the last one I need to take out. Correct?
I thought
I was worried about that too.
I thought about that, or could it be just because it's for our sake, so we can see? I don't know.
It makes it so. I mean, it makes it realistic. I mean, they do the same thing in stage lighting, where when you turn the lights out, they like provide starlight or a light coming in through the window, or some way that you can still have some measure of light. And so I assumed that it was something like what Jordan was saying. But I also think that, Cameron, to your point, it definitely could have been her asserting control, like leading them into a certain direction, because we're creatures of habit. We're going to go to the light. She doesn't need the light to be comfortable. It's a trap.
Right, and maybe it was just enough light to lure them in, because, again, he tries all the light switches and they don't work. They could have come back with flashlights or something, right? Maybe they wouldn't have been willing to come in there, so.
Interesting, yeah.
That's why I thought, because
like
if they
had
say
to
it's all
lure him
black,
in.
they're like, I'm not going to go in there. She's blind.
Yeah.
She's in the situation. That's why I figured
She's
she
got
did
the
it on
upper
purpose,
hand.
because she's like really smart.
But you're right, though, because she did sabotage all the light. And I was worried about that, too, because when it happens, you watch her and you're like, she damaged all the light bulbs, but goes in and turns on that one light. You're like, no, did you think it was already off? Like, you just turned it on. I remember thinking that same exact thought I did the first time I watched it.
Okay, it's not necessarily a quote, but the scene, there's two amazing jump scares. Obviously, the ending, the best jump scare of all. But then the one right before that, when he turns around and goes, Susie, one more thing. And then he gets stabbed. Everybody just, freaks out, because they know the only person that could protect her, because she obviously did a great job protecting herself, but like maybe would be that guy. And so
Sam,
it's
and then he just gets freaking murked.
Harry wrote from Scarsdale. That knife, protruding out of his back, too.
What the?
It's so terrifying. And then Asbury Park. I'll never forget those lines. Like, meet her at Asbury Park, Dial the phone twice. There's so many great scenes. You're right, Jordan. Like, when she learns all great iconic scenes. Also, the one crony getting run over in the parking lot. That was pretty horrifying. That light, the car just screeches on. That's another great jump scare that I always forget about. Because I don't remember where that scene takes place. It just happens all of a sudden. This car just like...
And they didn't pull their punches with... So I hate the sound of bodies breaking or, like, bodies being hurt. And they didn't pull their punches with the sound there. Like, you hear his body being run over as that happens. Yeah. And then you hear, like, the tires roll away. And you're like...
goes back over it. Backs up. Goes back over it again. Oh, it's horrifying. It's just like... He's just ramming up against the fence. It's a pretty horrifying way to die, for sure. Woo! It's great. Yeah, so many fun scenes. Like, it almost gets into, like, it's not even body horror, but yeah, it's like, I love that there's a feeling of dread, which a lot of movies fail to do, because you have moments of tension, but there is a sense of dread all throughout this film.
Well,
you know, like we mentioned from the very beginning with the body stashed, the blonde lady stashed in the closet, leading to, you know, again, outsmarting the men that come into her apartment. They're always like, they're trying to taunt her, scare her, and it's just, you're just honestly on the, and again, the whole scene with Rote, with the other two henchmen, like, it just fills you with dread. Like, the whole time you're like, this is just not going to end well for everyone. You know, people are going to die, people are going to get betrayed, people are going to get, it's just so scary, like, dread.
I love, too, when people kind of, like, figure out what the other person is, like, got hidden. Like, there's the part where he's telling them, he's like, oh, the key, you know, it's not, I don't know. He's like, oh, why would she not lock her door but lock her closet? Like, and then he's like, all right, sit down. And he pulls out his knife. And then the other two guys, like, picking up.
Right. Strange people, right? Yeah, he tries to play it off. Yeah. Yeah. Strange people.
Yeah, when they pick up the household items, we got a few laughs, too, at that. Because, like, one guy's, like, swinging a camera, you know?
Yeah.
Or making a sandwich. Like, he just comes into her house and starts raiding the fridge and making a sandwich.
I love those characters.
Doing?
They do that in The Burbs, too. I love characters that just go into people's houses and just start eating. It's just...
Yeah. Mr. Weingard, when he comes over to Tom Hanks's place and just starts eating all their food, he comes out, like, he opens the fridge and closes the fridge, and he's carrying, like, all this food under his chin. Like, I love that. His hands are stacked, like, just always eating his food. Like, thanks, yeah, come on over and eat all my food.
I forgot we watched that last year, Jordan.
Yeah,
that's the one we watched, right?
Oh, The Burbs.
Yeah.
That's another one we'll have to discuss very soon. All right, so real quick, we're just going to say recommendations or other movies this is like real quick. It reminded me of the movie, I don't know if it was Hush. Is it the one with the deaf girl?
Yeah.
Yeah, that was another great movie. It kind of reminded me very similar to this. Again, deaf, and so she doesn't hear the guy around her, but she can still see. So it kind of used the sense deprivation or, you know, she couldn't hear. In a few moments, it goes completely silent, and so you're like, the guy's moving around, but she doesn't see it. It's really good. So that's another great one. I really like the movie Hush, and it reminds me a lot of this small contained film, slightly handicapped woman.
But if you can't handle some of those modern day horrors like Hush, Arsenic and Old Laces.
Arsenic and Old Lace, yeah.
Also, A Quiet Place. It reminded me a lot of Quiet Place, like utilizing that and kind of like. Because I remember I watched it in the theater the first time I ever saw it, and like there was.
Oh, did it remind you of Bird Box, Cameron? Because everyone was blind, you know, driving cars around, completely.
That was such a horrible movie.
Completely blacked out windows, driving their car.
Horrible movie, so unrealistic. Don't even want to talk about it. But no, what I loved is because I watched A Quiet Place in the theater the first time I saw it, and like everyone in the theater was silent. I've never had like a movie experience so quiet where there's so many moments where like everyone's like. Holding their breath. Yeah, like trying not to like make any sound or whatever. You're just like, oh my gosh. And I loved. Okay, I don't want to get into it. I just love how like in the beginning scene they killed off like the person. That's what I liked about this movie. It was very realistic because like it's not for sure. It's not showing that like everyone's gonna get out fine, kind of like Disney ending, but it's like people are gonna die.
Yeah, and
any final.
I was also gonna say it also reminds me of Rear Window. It's a quick way. I mean. Some people could say it's a crutch for somebody to be like disabled and then you feeling sympathy for them. But I feel like they did a really good job of still making her likable and still like bringing out an actual good character. But I was thinking of Rear Window where he is, you know, also in a wheelchair and he can't move around.
That's another great one.
Yeah,
it's about
right?
disabled people, man. They're just so horrifying. Or they're always involved in like terrifying situations. It's so good.
The movie that I thought was not anything like this one at all, except that it has Audrey as well, and it's My Fair Lady, because you have like a woman who goes through a considerable growth period, and then at the end, like she hands the man her slippers, and we're not sure if we like the man at all, but then she like,
oh my gosh,
the ending scene is to hand him the slippers.
Yeah. Oh my gosh. Well, it's funny you mentioned My Fair Lady. I was thinking of, well, again, just starring Audrey Hepburn has nothing to do with this movie, but I just watched Breakfast at Tiffany's. I don't like that movie. I'm just gonna say it. I really don't. It was like really disappointing. Like I remember thinking I was so excited to see it, but no. What is good with her? Cary Grant and Audrey Hepburn did Charade. Now that is a good movie. Go see that one, folks.
I need to go back to that one.
Yeah, I just watched that one after watching this. I was like on an Audrey Hepburn binge, so I was like, oh, what other movies is she in? And I go on Amazon Prime, and she's like in tons of movies. So go watch Charade. That's a great one too.
Jordan,
but anyway, sorry. Go ahead, Kim.
No, I was just gonna say that kind of was like what I kind of felt like the overall message was of the movie, of kind of like relating to what you were talking about, was like I felt like it said like sometimes our greatest weakness could be like used as a strength, because like her greatest weakness is like she's obviously blind, but then she used it as an advantage in a situation to where she's like, okay, now everyone's blind, and now like my ability to see without seeing is my strength. So I thought that was kind of cool.
There's the message, Cameron. I was just about to ask. That was perfectly well said. All right, everyone, we're going to ask, would you recommend this movie?
Start with Alicia, because I don't know when she's getting that call.
Yes, I would definitely recommend this movie.
Perfect. Jordan?
Yes. Oh, 100%. It's a perfect Halloween movie, and it's a classic.
Great. Cameron?
Oh, wait, watch it with the crowd, though. Sorry. Oh, keep going.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, Cameron, how about you?
Took the words right out of my mouth, Jordan.
Oh, dang it.
I wrote 100% perfect Halloween movie.
Yeah.
Took the words right out of my eyeballs, because I'm not blind.
Oh,
Is
jeez.
Hey, I recommend this film. I recommend this film. This is a great one. Definitely watch it.
I think it's my favorite Audrey. So,
Yes.
yep.
That's tough. That's tough because there's a lot of good performance. But I would say this is the most earnest Audrey for sure. Funny Face is another good one.
Did you also know that supposedly she was only 16 when she filmed this?
I'm not saying Funny Face is a better Audrey Hepburn than this movie. I'm just saying that was another movie that came to my mind that I just recently watched.
I didn't like Funny Face.
You didn't like Funny Face? Oh, that's a good one.
Yeah, and I didn't like Breakfast at Tiffany's or Roman Holiday. So
I didn't like Breakfast at Tiffany's either, so we agree on that. Roman Holiday is really sweet. Or is it Sabrina that I'm thinking of? I might be confusing those two. Sabrina was good. Sabrina's really good too.
Did you know? I'm pretty sure that she was 16 years old when she filmed Wait Until Dark. I believe that's what I saw when I looked up how old she was.
Is that right?
I think
way.
she was 16 years old when she filmed the movie.
I don't buy that. Really? I would buy 18, but I wouldn't buy. There's no way she's 16 when they made this.
No, especially since she was married and was trying to save, like, her husband at the time was,
Maybe her film debut, Cameron, but I doubt it was this film. This wasn't her acting debut either.
Oh, wait. I don't know.
I bet her first film came out when she was 16, but I doubt that this one she was. Because she'd already been in other films.
Well, okay, so now we've done all that. Alicia, do you want to tell us what you've seen lately and what you're looking forward to see before you dip out?
Yes. What have I seen lately? I watched something the other day. Oh, I haven't watched. You better come back to me. Give me just a second.
Okay. Yeah, we just wanted to make sure we got you before you headed out. But if you think of it, just let us know.
And,
Jordan,
when you head out, can I still pick up the phone, or is it gonna?
Yeah, come on over. I'm just touring, so I'm looking for a new roommate. So one of the potential candidates is coming for a tour.
You want to vet them, Make sure they don't carry any heroin-infested dolls in your apartment. That's no good.
Right.
Yeah. Big problem. Happens a
Oh,
lot
I was
going
going
to
to ask that on the nitpicking section. I mean, I don't know nitpicking, but because I just don't know anything about drugs. When the guy asked, he's like, that'll be $2,000 that you're going to pay each of us. Like, obviously, he was going to double cross him and kill him anyways. But then he's like, it just doubled when they said we're going to get rid of a dead body. So is that how much we believe a dead body to get rid of costs? Is $2,000? Is that?
So did you know?
Seems fair.
A couple of years ago, I watched this video or whatever, and it costs on the black market $32,000 to buy a Komodo dragon, but then it's $30,000 to hire an assassin to assassinate anybody. So a Komodo dragon's life is worth more than a human life.
Oh my gosh.
I love the world that we live in.
That's crazy.
Okay,
I watched August Rush. That was the most recent movie that I've watched.
Is that the guitar slapping one? They slap the guitar?
Like, I don't know. It's all I love the soundtrack in it. I don't know. I think that the characters are all very sweet, with the exception of Robin Williams, who I actually don't love in that role. I love Robin Williams, but I don't love him in that role.
Love that he I can't even remember. Is he the one that enslaves the kids?
Pretty much.
Yeah,
no,
that's right.
Like, it's not even that that's his role. It's just that he's uncomfortable. I don't know.
He's probably the only adult that could get away with doing the role that he did, but even then he still didn't pull it off. There's something about Lost Boys that are being harbored and utilized and panhandling for an adult that just always feels weird, for sure.
Yeah.
Running like an orphanage for all these kids, and they perform for him and bring back the money to him. It's just a really weird.
It's a really uncomfortable dynamic that they manage to like tread a very careful line that the movie pulls off, even if Robin doesn't. But the movie I'm most looking forward to seeing isn't actually a movie. I'm going to go back and watch the Chernobyl series on HBO.
So you have seen it?
I have seen it.
Oh my gosh!
First, the cultural aspect of it is incredible, and it's
amazing.
Very on point. But my cousin is a biologist, and so when we were talking about it, I was like, oh my gosh, the culture this, the history this, and she's like, oh my gosh, the science here, the biology here, and I was like, whoa, we should watch this together and like compare notes, so we're going to do that.
It's amazing.
You don't
movie.
get a
I hope we do
better
that.
courtroom drama noir disaster movie than or series than that.
I wanted to bring you on, Alicia, to talk about that, but I'm like, I don't think she wants to watch it because I know you're trying to be sensitive.
No, I've seen it already, and I'm going to watch it again. So if you ever do Chernobyl, if you haven't done it already, I would love to talk Chernobyl.
Okay. Yeah, all those naked miners.
Alicia had served her mission, and she was in Russia.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Nice.
I taught English in Moscow, served my mission in Russia, and then got my degree in international studies.
So you have like a third eyeball grown on the back of your shoulder right now, right? It's like that's what's going on right now.
This is an Army of Darkness tie.
Right. Well, I didn't even think about that imagery, Cameron. But I was just thinking of like radiation, growing a third eyeball right in the center of your head.
Yeah. Totally. So that's me.
That's good. That's crazy.
Wait, did you already say something you're looking forward to? Oh, it's watching this.
Yeah. Watching Chernobyl. Okay.
What a movie.
Excellent.
What a movie.
Jordan, how about you? What have you seen lately? What are you looking forward to seeing?
Come Back to Me.
Okay. So I actually watched Charade, like I mentioned earlier. It's a great, fun caper. It's like a romance / mystery noir. A little bit of a thriller. It's a great one with Cary Grant and Audrey Hepburn. Those two were just made for the movies, I gotta say. Jordan knows that every time I see him, I recommend North by Northwest. Have you still seen that one, Jordan?
No.
Every time I recommend it, and he just won't see it. This is another good one that you can put right on that list. But
thanks, guys. I'm
hey,
out.
take care,
Right.
Alicia.
Bye, Alicia.
Thanks for playing.
Bye.
Yeah, just stop the recording and... okay.
Wait, let me finish.
Wait a minute.
Here, poor person, have a $13 pint of ice cream. It's like so stupid. Let's see. I would recommend that you guys all check out Charade and North by Northwest. Movies that I'm excited to go see. I just keep thinking about Batman coming out. I keep thinking about the 007 movie coming out. I'm excited to see some of these big films, but I'm also excited about the prospect of having a lot more smaller indie films as a result of COVID. Everyone's kind of like consolidated, less big budget, more small independent rooms with like more intimate characters, more compelling characters as a result. So I'm grateful for that. So one of the movies that I was looking forward to, I just saw, I was watching, Schitt's Creek, which was funny that we mentioned that on last episode or last podcast. This show is so great.
It's not spelled the swear word, Cameron.
I know.
Oh.
Right. So you can
Cameron's eyes were like, huh?
Yeah.
You have my attention.
The last season is finally on Amazon Prime, and I'm just loving it. I think it's such an endearing show. I think it's one of those few sitcoms that exist out there that doesn't have a laugh track and that's very intelligent and very endearing. Because you know how I feel about laugh track. It's funny. They laugh, so they know when I think it's supposed to be funny. It's a great show. Watch Schitt's Creek. On the final
Charlie.
season, and enjoy it. That was from Mac, though, wasn't it? Or was it Charlie that said that? I thought it was Mac.
Oh, maybe it was. I don't know.
Yeah, he was just like, it's great because I love Sunny in Philadelphia. I'll probably watch that series again. I'm just reminded how much I love that because I just finished The Office a second time, and now that Schitt's Creek is only one season, I might just watch either Schitt's Creek all over again or start Always Sunny in Philadelphia, because I got through the first 4 or 5 seasons and then I took a break, but I would love to keep watching that one. It's great. Cameron, how about you? What have you seen lately, and what are you looking forward to seeing?
Yesterday I watched The Thing, which was done on the podcast, and I've been meaning to watch for a while.
Oh my gosh, what did you think? It wasn't too scary for you, was it?
So you guys way overhyped the scariness. It was more Big Trouble in Little China scary than it was actually scary. I was like, what the fudge am I looking at? Scary.
Practical effects and wet puppets scare me to this day, dude. Like wet, drippy, oozy puppets.
I was unaffected, but I loved it because I was watching it here in Idaho. The winds are like 20-mile-an-hour winds right now, and so like I felt like I was immersed in the film. I'm like, I'm just waiting for Grant to just be like, and I was like,
did Grant watch it with you?
No, he was playing video games.
Oh, boo.
Oh, man. You got to watch that one with a group. That's a great date movie.
No, I loved it. I was really surprised how much I enjoyed it. I love movies where, because it's kind of like dealt with a psychological thriller. Same with this movie.
Yes.
This movie isn't actually characterized as a horror movie. It's, at least in IMDb, it's characterized as a thriller and a psychological thriller at that. So I really like that. Yeah.
Men's get his hands torn off and it can't count as a horror movie? Like,
oh, no, I don't know about The Thing. I don't know about The Thing. I was talking about Wait Until Dark.
Oh, okay. I'm sorry.
Wait Until Dark is... No, but the thing...
See, Alicia said that it was a horror movie. I saw it as a thriller. Yeah,
me too.
I don't know.
It
does say thriller.
But,
so.
and then I just...
Well, it's a classic horror, but...
Yeah. And so...
Right.
I don't know. I just really love that Kurt Russell is a great actor. And I just loved... I love the...
Oh, keep going.
What?
No, I just was wondering what you thought, who was the bad guy at the end. I was just curious as to your thoughts.
Was it Childs or was it Kurt Russell?
It's definitely Childs, dude. Are you kidding me?
Yes, I take it, son.
Dude, you guys are just projecting. You guys want it to be Childs because you didn't like him as much.
Because we hate black people. Yeah, no, freaking.
What?
First off,
I was making that argument, but you said it first, man. You guys just want it to be Kurt Russell because you like him. You're drawn to him. Look, I wanted it to be Kurt Russell as much as the next person. I don't like my protagonist being the end. But think about it. The fact that we still talk about it to this day, there's enough evidence to suggest it could go either way. That's all I'm saying.
Here we go.
That's all I'm saying. Yeah.
But, no, okay. What's called Childs is just he's just way too like out of control, and like that's what made me nervous. Okay, first off, like dude, everyone I love movies.
That makes you a murderer, doesn't it?
That gets you involved and makes you not trust anybody. Like that's what I love is when a movie where I'm like, who can I trust? Who's bad?
Yes.
Like, I love that when you can like trust nobody and you're like, okay, I only trust this person. And you're like, oh, freak, that dude might be bad. And so I
was just thinking how you could remake this movie as like a spoof. It's just like you could have a whole winter base of all these people, and it's just like whoever farts, right? And then if you smell the fart, you turn into the guy that farts a lot. So at the very end, it's whoever's gonna smelt it, dealt it. You know, it's great. I don't know what I'm talking about. I just thought it'd be so funny to do a horror movie where it's like you fart, and then if you smell it, you're now farting uncontrollably. Anyone want to make that movie? Call my agent.
My biggest qualm was, I don't know, I just thought like the freaking like Swedish people or whatever they ended up being, Norwegian, they were just like so random, like, and they were just like, I don't know, they started like shooting at the dog and like killing other people. I'm like, you don't think that's gonna make you look suspicious? You gotta like try to at least explain like, not good, like something. Instead they're just like, I'm just gonna unload an AK after I show up.
Hey,
to
Cameron, say the words "not good" in Switzerland or
dude,
in Swiss.
Also, okay, every European knows basic English. They could have.
Oh, okay, no, but I just wanted to hear. I just wanted to hear you attempt to say "no good" in Swiss.
999.
And then they shoot you.
I really enjoyed it. It's definitely a slow film. I've grown to like appreciate. I don't know if it's just like as of late. I've just like liked films that are slower more and more. I kind of like I don't appreciate.
Are you getting old, Cameron?
I guess so, dude. I don't know. Like every
No,
single
it's
time I
okay.
see a film that like kind of like forces the plot to go, I just kind of feel like, okay, you're just doing that to like for money or whatever. But I really enjoy a film.
For money.
I could do that for money.
For money.
But
I
like
can
that's
tell
the
you
one
that
thing
for money. That's right. Freaking Audrey, I just got that.
Yeah. So like that's the thing is I just really enjoy a movie that can create a feeling and like develop a plot just based on like the writing and then like what happens instead of like, oh, this is intense, stuff like that, you know. But and then me and Grant have been grinding on New Girl. We're on season 3. I'm loving it, dude. There's occasionally every once in a while a little bit uncomfortable like sexual stuff. Not luckily like most of it was just season 1. Honestly, we've kind of like season 2 season 2 was really good, like not being too sexual. And I love the character Schmidt. He is so funny. Oh darn! And he's like, Judaism, fuck.
I just like the first episode when he slaps the guy with the ring.
Dude, I just love the things that Schmidt says. They're just hilarious. But what I'm looking forward to, what I'm looking forward to is I'm finally gonna own up and be a big boy and watch the last season of Game of Thrones. Even though it's gonna take Game of Thrones off of my 10 out of 10 list, but it needs to be done. I've been just delaying it because it's on my 10
Cameron,
out of
don't,
10
dude.
list.
I'll tell you all the shows I haven't finished. I didn't finish Community. I didn't finish. There was tons of shows I didn't finish.
Mistake.
Yeah, don't like just quit while you're ahead. You're like, dude, I don't need to know. Just read about it. Trust me, Cameron. You'll feel so much happier if you just read about it and spoil it all. Then you'll be like, oh, I didn't have to slog through it all, because in the end, you still got to enjoy so much.
It'll just make you mad, Cameron. You're gonna be mad.
I used to torture myself. I did this with Community. I kept watching a second time, and I still didn't finish the second time, and I quit it. And I'm like, it was a great show, and I'll always think of it as a great show. And now I don't have to think about the ending.
You'll finish and you'll be furious.
Yeah, because Jordan knows how furious I was after the red wedding, and then I don't know.
So
it just bothers me because it ended so awesome, and I went on my mission, and I was like so excited, and then I just
we all were. Everyone was.
Because it ended with the wall being burnt down, and freaking Ice King is riding on an ice dragon. Are you kidding me? It's getting cooler than that. And then I just hear that I pretty much can deduce what has happened. It's like,
no, you can't predict this ending unless you've heard spoilers.
I don't know. Everyone's just said to me that a main character acts out of character, which I feel like
yes. All the characters act out of character, Cameron. All of them. Like even the midget, he's like a genius, and then he acts super stupid. And oh jeez, Cameron.
Your cadence for stupid. It was stupid. He looks like an idiot.
Well, even when they were interviewing him, Cameron, he's like, I don't understand. He's like, the dead are chasing us, so we go hide in a crypt. And that was my idea. They were interviewing him, and he's like, how stupid am I? And he's just like, they wrote me as being this dumb character. So anyways,
dude, imagine how the cast of The Walking Dead must feel. Hey, during a zombie apocalypse, I'm gonna go investigate a dead cow carcass in the middle of a field in the middle of the night, not bother to look around me or check my surroundings, and get bit by a slow moving zombie. Stupid Dale. Why did you have to go, Dale? No.
Well, you know why he had to go, because he was
loyal to Frank Darabont. Because he's like, I think Frank Darabont was a great director, and yeah, he's got to go. He knows we suck. We definitely got to get rid of him.
He knows we suck. He's got to go. He knows we suck. What's that from?
It's quoting from Scott Pilgrim when he goes,
yeah, that's right.
Do we rock or do we suck? And then he's like,
she knows we suck.
I don't know. Yeah, she's like, I don't know. Did you? And then she's like, she has to go. She knows we suck.
All right, Cameron, anything else? Sorry, Cameron, we kind of hijacked that.
No, you're good.
So everybody, write in your reviews, 5-star reviews, please. Don't forget to email us at futromovies@gmail.com. We'd love to hear from you. If you have any insights about the movies that we discussed, or if you're disgusted by something that we have said about the movies we discussed, or that we haven't talked about a movie that you're really looking forward to us reviewing, don't forget to leave us an email. You guys are excellent. Take it easy, everybody. Stay safe.
Bye.
Peace.
Happy Halloween.